Lee here, and welcome to the pull list for April 10th, 2013, presented by LongboxRadio.com. First up this week, we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is issue 20, coming to us from Dark Horse Comics. Next up in DC, we have Batman number 19. I really dig this cover. Just something about it. Batman holding the gun, so I mean, ultimately. But yeah, no, cool stuff. Bruce Wayne's greatest foe. Here we go. So, more Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, awesome Batman coming from them. Constantine. After reading the preview for the new Constantine book, I wasn't that interested in it. I picked up the first issue anyways, and the preview was actually a really, really bad representation of what that book was, which is a pretty solid Constantine book. Not nearly as dark or edgy, of course, as Hellraiser or anything like that, but from Jeff Lemire, this might be a decent pickup. So I picked up the second issue there. Going on to Image, we have the very controversial Saga Chapter 12 here from Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. If you haven't heard what happened, Apple pulled this issue from their apps, so Comixology would not be able to read this on an iPhone or iPad. That's because there is a small depiction of gay porn on Prince Robot's head at one point in the issue, and I won't spoil what's going on in there, but if you read Saga, and if you don't, you should, but if you have, you know that they don't shy away from the dicks in Saga. Lots of nudity, lots of debauchery and whatnot to do with that. Issue 11, for example, had like a full-page sex scene, but apparently not so cool with the gay sex over there at Apple. And I you know, they released a statement later today where it's like, hey, it wasn't their call, it's Comixology's call or something. Everybody's pointing fingers. Case in point, it's art, and what you need to do is not make people's minds up for them. Let them read what they're going to read, especially when it's a book as fantastic as Saga. And thankfully, there has been a huge Twitter outcry. It's been trending and whatnot. People, yelling at Apple, at Comixology, being like, "Hey, why make that call?" And it's so minuscule. If you look it up, if you're not reading Saga, go look up what exactly the big fuss is about. And it's not a big deal. And you have to consider this is a book where sex and dongs and vaginas and boobs very plentiful within here. And this is they don't telegraph, they don't bury the lead. This is an adult, mature, rated book. I know there's lots of colors and cool stuff, but it is very much for adults. For mature readers, they make so much known. So why is that content? And there's plenty of other books that deal with gay sex and gay in this case gay porn, I guess it was called. But yeah, not a big deal. You should read this book. It's amazing, and people need to start pulling their heads out of their asses and making up people's choices for them with what they read, what they subject themselves to. And I mean, it's comic books. It's one of the more violent mediums. The comic books code is out the window. You can do or show anything, and you gotta push the envelope. Comic books don't have they don't have the visual, the moving visual, the gross out. They have to try that much harder because the image is still and you're reading words. So give them a break already. Speaking of violence, The Walking Dead 109 right there. Apparently a good jumping on point. I'm a couple issues behind in Walking Dead, admittedly, but I will be catching up pretty soon. The Walking Dead finale, of course, on TV, kind of wrapped up a couple weeks ago at this point, so I'm going to spoil something here. They did kill off Andrea, who was incredibly annoying in the show, but is still a character that's very alive and well in Walking Dead, so that's kind of interesting, and hopefully they do more of that, like, killing off Carl and introducing new characters that aren't actually from the comic book that are as awesome as Daryl. So that's how I feel about The Walking Dead anyways, but there is issue 109. Age of Ultron number 5. Awesome stuff from Brian Michael Bendis, of course. I enjoy this book very much. I finally ended up reading the first 4 issues and the Superior Spider-Man tie-in. It's really, really cool that it picks up after the actions already happened, so to speak. You jump into this book and Ultron has already decimated New York and has already taken over and killed a lot of the main heroes, and you're kind of picking up the pieces. And I think that makes a really, really interesting narrative, and it's different than we can see it coming, here it comes, it's coming, it's here, and it's super lame. This way, it leaves you with some guessing and stuff. I really, really enjoy Age of Ultron, super cool, and it's really neat this is happening in canon, actually. So I can't wait to see what they do with that. And there's a free digital code, so you can get that at the end of the episode there. Speaking of free digital codes, Avengers from Jonathan Hickman, of course, right there. A couple issues behind on this one as well, but has been a great book. I definitely dig New Avengers more than this, but they're both great books if you have the extra money to spare. So look for a digital code for that after the episode. Moving on, Avengers Arena. I think I'm 1 issue behind on this, but I've really, really enjoyed it. I like the characters that are going, and I like that I believe it's Dennis Hopeless, I believe. right? He is taking these no-name characters in the same way that Christos Gage kind of did this with Avengers Arena, except he kind of started from scratch with his own. Taking these, characters that have been kicking around, the Runaways and whatnot, kicking around in the Marvel Universe for a while. We haven't really delved into them, and we're not really interested in them for that reason. But giving them quick little origin stories and really, really making them pop, and making you care about these nobodies, really, which is really, really cool. Really like it. So, we have Hawkeye. We have Hawkeye number 9 from Matt Fraction. It seems like it's been a while since an issue of Hawkeye, but here it is all the same. David Aja. It's a mystery to everyone. Doing the art, of course. Again, great series. Speaking of Avengers Arena, a book that Hawkeye, I mean, he's got his diehard fans, but really, does anyone care about Hawkeye? This is a book that makes you care about him as a person, not so much his exploits as an Avenger or anything like that, but makes him really interesting and adds layers to the character, where now when you read him in an event book or you read him in Avengers, you think of these backstories, and it really gives him a personality he didn't have before, being kind of a, sixth banana on the Avengers team. So that is the pull list for this week. As far as podcasts go, we're going to try to get one done in the next couple weeks. It's going to be rough, but the pull list will always be on time. Look for those digital codes after the episode, and everybody have a great goddamn week.